Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Unexpected Entrepreneur Podcast. Today, we actually have one of our past clients and also our past brand photographer on, who you've probably heard on the podcast before, Kylee. So I'd love to hand it over to you and kind of let you introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, so I'm Kylie, as you said, very originally known as Kylie B Photography, and they keep it simple. And yeah, I did your branding photography. What was it now? Has it been 2 years? I don't even know. Time flies. But oh, it was so fun. But yeah, I'm also predominantly a wedding photographer in like the East Coast and dabble in some boudoir and lifestyle, but weddings and brand photography is my jam for sure.
Perfect. Well, today we're going to talk about your brand that we did for you and the rebrand. So, before jumping into the whole new look that you have now, did you have any kind of challenges or issues that came up with your brand before starting to work with us on the rebrand?
Yeah, so I would say that I was having a little bit of what I felt was like consistency problems just because over the years I was doing like a little bit here, a little bit there, and trying to use all of that stuff that wasn't created as a whole to try to like make it work. And I felt like it was just like there were some pieces that were like falling through the cracks and making it harder on myself to just like easily plug some things there because I know it falls under my brand. So I knew that my brand was all about color. I knew that my brand was all about fun, but there were still some like niche avenues that I wanted to make a little more clear and obvious to the people looking at my website and my photos and how that all worked together. So that was one of the reasons why we did the initial brand, because I was just like, I need some stuff like that I can just grab and go. And then the revision was like, okay, let's like make this a nice little tiny package that makes sense.
Had you tried to create your brand on your own? Because I know you did have branding as well.
Well, okay, I did, but I also didn't. It was more of just like a logo and a color scheme, which I think is another, I don't want to say trap, but a trap that people kind of will fall into. It's like, oh, I need a brand. That means I need like a color scheme and fonts and logos. And yes, that's like visually what people are seeing, but there's a whole other like contextual like backstory to the brand that needs to be understood for all of those visuals to work.
Absolutely. And I think too, one of the things that I loved about your brand was how you kind of took it and like took the visuals and used them in like really cool ways. Like I know you got the like sweatshirt made with the brand pattern on it and it like looks so cool. And I
Yes.
think being able to have a wider range of things that you can actually use visually for your brand gives you so much like flexibility and freedom and you can do like so many cool things with it, and you definitely
Yeah.
took it in like ways that we hadn't seen any of our past clients do it yet, and we saw it and we were like, oh my god, do we need to get sweatshirts made with our brand pattern now?
I should send you some.
Since the rebrand, what have you seen? Have you felt any different about like showing up with your brand? Have you heard any people coming to you and being like, this is so cool? Like, are you showing up more confidently when you're kind of displaying your brand, anything like that?
I definitely will say that operating on social media is a little bit easier because I felt like I would just like start completely from scratch on Canva or something and be like, oh my gosh, this is going to take hours to put together. And now I literally have like a little sidebar folder where it's like, okay, logos and little markers and stickers and graphics. And I have all of my fonts saved. And it's so much easier just to be like, okay, plop this here, plop this there. And it does not take nearly as much effort. And I do definitely get feedback, especially from other like photographers that are like, oh my gosh, I love how like everything is just so consistent. And I see a story and I could tell it's yours because you stay on brand and have all your fun little stuff incorporated into it. And I think that is super helpful when you're competing with so many different, brands or photographers that are essentially doing the same thing that you're doing, but you can like stick out in that different way that like stays in people's heads.
Yeah, that's so valuable having that consistency where people can like see something that's of your brand and not necessarily like your actual logo, but like different elements and icons or, backgrounds or colors from your brand. And they're like, oh, that's Kylee. I'm going to like, I know that that's Kylee and this is so cool. And like having that kind of instant connection with people, I feel like is so valuable. And one of the best things about having that kind of extended brand suite of like all of this stuff, it makes it so quick and easy to do it, and you don't have to feel like you're using the same thing over and over and over again. Like there's variety, but people are
Totally.
still really quickly able to recognize it.
Yeah, you know it's working when you get people sharing like other visuals that they're seeing or like shirts out in the wild and they're like, I had to send you this because it seems like it would totally be on brand for you. And I'm like, yep, it would be.
100%. And I did want to ask if you had a favorite part of rebranding.
Ooh, I loved putting together like the mood boards and stuff. That was super fun. And also, since Pinterest itself has its little algorithm, the more you like pick and choose, the more it like shows you more of that stuff. And now I'm like, yes, I love my Pinterest board.
I feel like that's always the best thing when it's like the actual related search and you're like, wait, no, that 100% fits. Like I'm totally going
Yes.
down this rabbit hole and now I have a clear vision of like exactly what I want, and this is going to look amazing. Was there anything that kind of surprised you through the whole process of, getting these new marks and logos and, colors and all of that?
Yeah, I know that in my second like refresh rebrand with you, I was worried about completely switching my logo because in the past people really recognized me for color and I had like a rainbow in there in my logo behind my name and I was like, okay, well, I want to refresh it, but I'm afraid to completely change the logo because I feel like people connect with that a lot. And but then I said, if you think something would work, just like include it, just in case, just in case you don't get me to change my mind. And you totally did because I was like, okay, that's way more fun. And
Hmm.
I don't know, I feel like while it's good to find something that really works, I had that old logo for a pretty good number of years, and my brand had evolved in what it was showcasing since I created that brand. So I think it was good to just kind of like start from fresh and trust the process and know like, okay, my brand is established enough that it's not just defined by my logo.
Hmm. No, I feel like that's such a great point and something that a lot of people probably like go through and think about, especially if they've been in business for, a few years and they've had the same stuff. They're like, well, people might recognize me from this logo and I don't want to just like completely get rid of that. But was there any kind of like, obviously it sounds like you were hesitant a little bit, but if we're looking at
Yeah.
like taking from that old logo to the new logo, do you have any kind of advice or tips for people who are maybe a little hesitant about that because they're thinking maybe people won't recognize me and that's going to kind of ruin my like, instant brand recognition, even though it might be like you said at the point where you're like, it doesn't really connect with like everything that I'm doing right now. Do you have any kind of tips for anyone who might be in that same boat?
Yeah, I think what I did was kind of like teased it a little bit beforehand to kind of also like make me feel a little bit more comfortable and at ease with it. I made a few like informational posts that had some of the new fonts, or I was using
Hmm.
some of the new fonts on my stories just to kind of like feel it out and see how it was going. And then, when I'm finally revealing it, it feels less from my standpoint like a major like switch.
Hmm.
And I think also that kind of like helps with your people that are watching and clients and couples to like, oh, saw a little bit of that before. It's not so like drastic.
Yeah. It's not that like jump scare of like, I don't know what this is. Like that kind
Yeah,
of, I think that's such a great thing of like teasing it a little bit, getting people to be a little bit comfortable and just maybe just that like, hey, things are going to change a little bit and it's going to
yeah,
happen, but I'm still me. This is still the same thing. Like this is still the same business. And I mean, honestly, if we look at it, all of these big corporations are changing their logos. They're changing up how they do things, and we still recognize it as the same company. And I think it kind of keeps up that excitement. I feel like everyone's nosy in like everyone's businesses. So as you like start to do it, you're like, oh, I'm gonna keep an eye on this and kind of see where this goes and what happens. So
especially if you say it's going to be completely different, then they're like, oh, really? I can't wait to see.
Yeah, just like the little sneak peeks of like parts of the logo or little different pieces of it. Everyone's like, I kind of want to see how this works out, and it gets people interested and still engaging with your content, which is always a plus. Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking about all of this. If anyone wants to connect with you or maybe see your brand in action and how you're using it on social media, your website, anything like that, where can people find you?
So I'm mostly on Instagram at Kylee_B_photography. My website is simply KyliePhotography.com. And right now I am currently booking weddings for next year and the year after that. And also brand photography is big in the down season that we're like slowly headed into after the holidays. Right now it's a little batshit crazy, but we are on TikTok a little bit, going to try to push that a little bit more, and you can all find that on my little Instagram link that I have.
Perfect. Well, we'll put all of those links in the description below. You should definitely go check her out. Check out the website. If you need brand photos, Kylee honestly is such an amazing brand photographer. Like, absolutely reach out and check that out. But thank you again so much for coming on today, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you are interested in getting your website designed, be sure to head over to inkpotcreative.com. We have a variety of different services, and we would love to collaborate with you. We also have a DIY template shop called Not Your Average Template Shop, filled with really fun and colorful Showit templates that you can completely DIY. Each template that you buy comes with an entire tutorial library filled with videos on how to edit and customize that specific template. Plus, you'll get access to an entire community of other entrepreneurs who have also purchased one of the templates. So if you need any help along the way, we're there for you. See you next time.